Nigel, back to the Premiership this week after a couple of weeks in the LV. Where do you get your momentum from for this week's game? Is it from beating London Welsh last week, or is it that comeback against Quins?
Well, we've maintained momentum really. Obviously, we weren't pleased with the result or large parts of the performance against Quins, but we kept hungry and we kept fighting. And then in the next 3 games that we've played, we've kept good momentum as well in terms of our intensity, our endeavour and our effort. So we've got good momentum going into the game, and we're excited now that we've been able to rotate the squad a little bit. We've re-energised the squad, give a few opportunities, so everybody's had a little bit of game time and everybody's fresh and fit to go.
And those players you brought back, about a dozen of them into the side for last weekend's game, how much would they have benefited from a week's rest away from playing in a match?
Oh, it's very important, and it's not just the rest, but it's the ability to up some of the intensity of their conditioning away from the rugby ground. And it's very difficult to do both in parallel. When you're working hard from a rugby perspective, it's very difficult to work as hard then from a conditioning point of view. So they had a little bit of a week off in terms of the rugby, but we were able to up their conditioning, so they'll be a little bit fitter, a little bit stronger, and a little bit sharper than they were before this break.
People will look at Sale and instantly think of one man, Brian Redpath. Is all the pressure from your perspective taken off because you arrived a couple of months after he left?
It's got no relevance at all. We just focus on playing Sale. That's the big thing for us, and that's as much I want to say about it really. It's a big game for us. They will be desperate to win a game to get themselves back in the hunt, and we're desperate to win the game to stay in the top 4. So that's what it's all about for us.
Have they changed at all since he became their backs coach rather than director of rugby? Has there been a noticeable change, or were you not scouting them that early on?
We've viewed them over the last period really, and there are certain cues in their game which haven't changed. Individuals probably have the biggest effect within their team. They have a couple of high quality individuals who can make something happen, and that's the big danger for us.
Danny Cipriani, probably one of those, I'd imagine. Is he getting back to something like his best? Because obviously he's had a couple of difficult years.
Well, he seems to have been pretty central to their sort of mini resurgence, that's for sure. And if he's allowed space and time, he's very effective and influential on games.
So the job to close him down for the back row?
Well, it's not necessarily just the back row. I think the way the modern game is played is pretty fluid, and at any particular time in the game, he might pop up anywhere, and that's a big strength of his. And if you do allow him time and space, he can hurt sides, and he's certainly done that. And as I say, I think he's been quite instrumental in their sort of little mini resurgence.
And obviously Cueto out wide, one of the best finishers in the Premiership.
Oh, you look at their squad, they were an excellent squad of players, and you have to respect that. They'll be disappointed with where they are in the league, and as I say, they'll be desperate for a win to get themselves back on track. So we know how important this game is. I think the thing from our point of view, and I don't disrespect that Sale squad at all, because there's a fantastic squad of players who are starting to build a little bit of momentum themselves. But if we want to remain a top 4 team, then we have to be able to prepare mentally and turn up mentally in the right place for every game that we play. Not just when we play Leicester at home. We have to be able to turn up in that type of mentality when we play the sides who are at the bottom of the league as well.